Welcome to Wealth Talk. We're here with a special guest today, Hilda Otchere, one of our actually wealth creators of the map book. She got on board with the program and she's doing amazing in the program, and her personality stands out. Immediately when starting the Wealth Talk, I reached out to her and said, Hilda, we have to get you on this show. And she was open to it, so thank you, Hilda.
Oh, no problem. I'm always up for opportunities where it's going to allow me to expand and grow. So as soon as you said it, I was like, why not? Yeah. What could go wrong, right?
Exactly. So Hilda actually has a company, Juice, right? And she also has many other companies and many other things going on, right? So I wanted to actually go in detail, and get a better insight of Hilda. So Hilda, please, if we could go all the way back, where were you born?
Sure.
What was life like growing up?
Sure. So I was born in Nigeria, actually, and I came here when I was 1.
Okay.
So I guess I will say I'll cap the Canadian.
Okay.
Because it gets complicated when people ask me. I'm like,
Yeah.
so I'm Canadian, it's fine. But my background's actually Ghanaian.
Okay.
My parents are both Ghanaian. And they're separated. So
Okay.
I actually lived in Montreal with my mom and my siblings. So we're 5 total.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So 1 brother and the rest of the girls.
Okay. Where are you along the 5?
I'm like borderline, I'm the 4th one.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm like borderline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And then my younger sister, which we're really, really close.
Okay, nice.
But we have a really good family dynamic, so I respect that, and it all comes from my mom. She definitely did a good job, and we lived in Montreal for 6 years.
Okay.
So I am bilingual. Actually, I
nice.
consider myself trilingual because I actually speak my mom's tongue as well, which is Tree.
Okay.
She didn't want no disgrace. You're not coming to Ghana with me and you can't speak the language, right?
Yeah.
So from young, it was just always funny. I don't speak English because I would be the one who'd Mom, and speak English and min tipro fo, which means I don't speak English, and I'm like, whatever. So with that, it forced me to learn the language even more, which is great because when I want to say something in the language, it's just, sometimes it sounds funny. You're in your actual language, so in English, so you can't explain to people. And then we have coding. When we go somewhere, we can speak that language or speak French. Although people kind of find it a little bit disrespectful here and there, but
so you and all your sisters speak French?
Oh, we all do.
Oh, wow! And you all speak Tree?
Everyone of us.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is from as long as you can remember. So I guess when you're a baby, you were speaking 3 languages.
Yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
French was my first,
Okay.
right? And I remember, so after 6 years, we came to Toronto.
Okay.
Then that's where I was
But hold on, in Montreal, when you were in Montreal, what was the reason for going to Montreal and
So the reason was, my mom and my dad separated, went up their own way. So he, I guess he sent her, on a plane and said here, he'll come back and stuff like that, and it didn't work out. But
to Montreal. Okay.
But
So that's
he was
what.
sending us to Canada, but I guess we ended up going to Montreal at first. That was our first actual stop.
You guys didn't know where you're going,
My mom knew nothing, so my mom had to fend for herself. That's where I think I get all this energy of trying to figure out things and trying to do more than one thing. I'm always doing more than one thing. I can't juggle just one thing. For me, it's what do you mean, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So because I saw her growing up doing so much,
exactly.
First of all, you can handle it if you obviously organize yourself better, put things in plan and things like that. So she was really good at doing that.
Yeah.
And she took care of us. We were first priority. So that's what I respect about my mom.
Yeah.
And from Montreal, we went to school there and everything like that. So we were really used to that culture.
Okay.
So when she broke the news that we were going to go to Toronto, and the reason why she wanted us to go to Toronto is because she wanted us to speak English. Because we were just all French.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah, and back then, Montreal wasn't really let's be bilingual, let's bring the English in the system. So it's strictly French. And my mom's like, you guys have to learn English. Not knowing English was easy peasy as soon as I got here because I was able to adapt very well. And English was just it didn't take as long as I thought it would. But then the French kind of slid in the back. But then during school, my school years here, I also took like French.
I
was known as the French girl.
Okay.
I had friends because I was the French girl. Oh, hell's like, can you French? See, I didn't even have to say it. People were like, hey, Hilda, you want to do my homework? I'm doing like 5 minutes within the class.
Nice.
And I wouldn't even listen to the teacher because I'm like, oh my gosh, I already know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But either way, like I still participated because I was like a nerd. I consider myself very like in my books, very like, I may not look the part, but I'm very strict on myself. And so growing up, I just put that on myself. Like, you got to do good in school. You got to make sure that, you're doing your work. So I was always disciplined in that manner. And then, so we all grew up. We came here to Toronto. We went to Malton.
Okay.
And that was like our first stop. And we lived in Malton for like over like 10 years, right? Yeah, and then we had to, everyone start growing up, so we all split. But even in Malton was a culture on its own. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
like Malton, Malton.
Yeah, I know Malton because my family's there, like my first cousin and stuff. So I was in Malton a lot.
Right?
And I have a lot of friends.
Exactly.
Sure.
And it's multicultural, so it's very dynamic there. And I liked it because it was like close to everything. Right?
Exactly in the center.
You could get anywhere in like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so it was like the best thing. So when my mom broke the news again, I was like, no, I don't want to go. Like, nobody wanted to leave. I loved my apartment. It had a 2 story.
Okay.
So, apartments are not like that anymore.
No, yeah.
So I was like, I can't believe we have to move. But, life happens and you gotta like transition and like pivot yourself and make sure that you just adapt to your environment when you get there, So that's what pretty much happened. We're all independent now. We're all grown. And it's our responsibility now to be taking care of her because she's done so much for us. So in the end, I mean, it was great. Living together was amazing. There's even times where I'm like, I wish we can go back. Like, because you're independent, you live on your own, everything's different. And sometimes you just miss that family dynamic, like being all together. And because we're close. And so it's different, but you gotta adapt, like I said. But everything is good now. Now I'm doing so much, like, I work 9 to 5. I became like very into like I guess I'd say like exploring, like maybe in like, I don't know, I think I was just always curious.
Okay, tell me like the first experience that you realized, like you were a curious experience.
So like when I was young, okay, like I was I'm very artsy, like into the beauty, into like, like health was always like a conscious thing, but I was always into beauty. And so I used to always do like different things, like make up different, like use different products, test different products, just to see what worked for me. I was interested in like different like face things. I would make things, like, just to like, cause I was so into it. So I knew I was very curious. And like growing up, so I started working at the store called Food Fiesta. It was a Western Union grocery store. So when I was 16, I started working there. When I got there, it was different. It's like a different culture, Jamaican, mostly like West Indian, whatever. But I started to learn, like they cooked a lot, and they did a lot. My mom cooked a lot anyways, right? So that was all in the family. But I started being curious. I was like, I wonder what they're cooking. How come they're using this? And why are they using that? And things like that. Because, in the Ghanaian culture, like, we have our foods. But I was always curious in, like, other people's cultures' foods. So I started cooking. That's where it started, this whole curiosity. Because then it's, like, different ingredients. We never use black pepper in our food. So I was like, hey, what's black pepper? Right? So my mom never used that stuff. So, and parsley, everything, like, so I just started getting very interested in like the art of cooking. It wasn't like a chore to me, like it was just like a science project, like what's gonna, like, you know what I mean, let's put this
and
in
then
the
when
pot
you taste it, you can see,
this is
that,
so, growing up, whatever, 16, 17, I start, and I did a lot of jobs, so I always had 2 jobs since I was 16 years old, had 2 jobs every single summer. I had another like something that I was doing, worked with my sister one summer at like a spice company. Then I went, like, my life of working is crazy. Then I was even like a maid, like, not like a maid, but the cleaning ladies and stuff like that. Did that with my sister, worked at a recycling place. What else did I do? I worked at a Gemma Communications, which is like a customer service. So I just did so much, right? But I just knew that I was always like I always had to go like a step more.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like comfortable in like my setting.
Yeah.
And as I grew up, I went to college.
Yeah.
So I went to college in Scarborough.
Okay.
Centennial College.
Yeah. What did you take there?
I took social service work.
Okay.
Yeah, so from there, I was like always exploring. See, I didn't want to go to a school that was close by, although I had the opportunity to, but I was like, no, I want to be adventurous. I want to get out and see what's going on. So I went to St. That's Scarborough. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on the train one time, fell asleep, missed my stop. I was like, wow. It was the worst feeling. I thought, oh my gosh, because I didn't really know the place like that, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I got that was like a 3-year program or so. Once I was done that, I went to university. I took sociology. So I am a Bachelor of Arts, sociology. So I started learning like human behavior.
Okay, so we're gonna get into that, but right now it sounds like you knew what you wanted to do.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because most people when they go to college or university, they don't really have an idea of what they want to do. They just try something out.
Yeah.
And so, but how you're talking, it seems like you knew what you wanted to do.
So I'm gonna take it back a little.
Yeah,
so I actually did not know that first I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So we were in an apartment at that time. We were all living together, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know," but really, I wanted to be a makeup artist.
Okay.
But Ghanaian parents.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're right. I didn't even have to say anything. It's like, I was like, so do you think that's gonna make you money? Like things like that, getting into your head. So you're just like, maybe I'm not gonna do it. And then you start to think, okay, maybe it's not worth it. So then my sister's like, Hilda, you're this type of person, because she took my personality and everything, like I'm carrying.
Which sister is this?
This is Patricia.
Okay.
So she is the third in the family.
Okay.
Right? She's the middle child.
Are you close with her as well?
Not as close as the younger one.
Okay.
Yes, but like we were okay.
Yeah,
we were kind of like a triplet group before.
Okay.
Like we even thought of like making a group, like a singing group. Like it was that serious. But then she was so into her books, so she kind of like ditched us in a way.
Okay.
So we're like, whatever. She was like, Hilda, you care about people. You're a very nice person. Maybe you should do like social work. And I was like, you know what? It's kind of true. I do have that personality where I want to always help someone, and I like the result of it, like having them being happy or like satisfied, because I don't feel like I'm not better than anyone.
Exactly.
If I can help someone, that's like my thing, you know? So I was like, you know what, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's in the books, something good.
Yeah. But
then when I went to school, like it is harder. Like, from high school transitioning to college, it's different.
Yeah.
I did very well in college. But then of course, like with university, I would try to go to York for social work.
Okay.
Right? The actual program, full. Right? And they're like, oh, you can take sociology. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to, like, these people, like, everyone's like, do this, and then I'm here, and then here. So I'm like, whatever, let me just take sociology. And they're like, if you do very well in, like, your first year, you get to, like, apply for social work. So it's like, whatever. So York, I didn't want to because they said that. But the McMaster was like, oh, we're going to take you, kind of a thing.
Okay.
But then they took me into, it's called social science or something like that. Like, so I thought it was like kind of like social work that I was going into, but then not realizing it was all part like sociology.
Oh, okay.
So basically the whole like point was I got into sociology.
Okay.
And I didn't go back to being like, oh, let me go back to social work, right? Because I was like, kind of like this.
Yeah.
And I started to learn a lot, like, like I was saying, like people's behaviors and I'm a person that's very observant. So I was like, and I love like investigative stuff. Like I'm up like 48 hours, any cop show. I'm like, I'm in there, right? Like, because I think like I'm some detective. Right? I'm not qualified, but I'm qualified. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I used to be very like, and I like obsessed, like where I used to like watch like 3 o'clock, 2, like any time in the morning, like I was still up watching these shows because I was just so interested. And I wanted to be a cop. I remember when I was younger too, I wanted to be a cop, but people were like, Hilda, with your certain physiques, you can't do it, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, are you serious? So I was like, whatever, because you're short, you're this, you're that. So I made people get into my head. So I'm like, I'm not going to be a cop, forget it, right? And then that's when I just, like I said, sociology came about, learned about people, started to like that a lot, graduated from university. And then at first I thought I had it all good because my last year of university, I didn't even know was my last year.
Okay.
See, these people, like when you're in school, like no one tracks it. You have to track it yourself because it's like, I didn't know my program was a 3-year as opposed to a 4-year.
Okay.
So I'm here taking courses, and one day the counselor was like, oh, you know, like I went to go talk to them. They're like, oh, you're graduating this year. I'm like, I'm what? What are you talking about? Because I wanted to minor in French. I wanted to do like, you know, and they're telling me I'm graduating. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's done, right? So the whole time in university, I thought to myself, like, you know, I'm gonna do this. Like, it looked like vivid. Like, you know, my plan was there. Like, once I got out of university, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. But it didn't work out that way, right? So that's the thing that they don't tell you, obviously. So you do all this work, and you're in school, you're stressing yourself, and then you leave, and you're like, what do I do now, right? So that's the point where I was. I started working, you know, and just working, really, because I didn't know like what field to go into, and with social work, you have to volunteer. And I was that person who's like, I don't want to volunteer. It's like a waste of my time. Like, you know, because I want to get paid.
You just finished all that school,
right? So like, who has time to volunteer? Why don't you give me a chance and I'll prove you, right? So that's how I felt about it. So that's why I never volunteer. After that, I just transitioned into different workplaces. So I did like the customer service, didn't like it too much because it was like telemarketing more. It's like, I don't like that. But eventually I landed a job, which I'm currently in right now, which they need a bilingual person.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me use that skill, you know? So I started doing that. It was okay. I've been there for like, it's been 6 years now.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm going to like 7, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's good. Like, you know, the people are good. I started to enjoy the place.
Are you implementing stuff that you were learning in school at your work?
That was the thing. Like, well, problem solving, right? Which was in social service work. Like, we problem solve. And so I liked that aspect of the job. That's why I took it, right? Because it was in customer service. Like, your regular, typical customer service. I was like, yeah, this job can, you know, at least I can use some of my, like, you know, education in here. So a lot of people now come to me, right? It's like, Hilda. I'm like this, like, you know, like savior. If everything crashes down, go to Hilda. And sometimes when you're that person that everyone goes to, you too need that break. So like when we took social work, it says a social worker also needs a social worker because you mentally get drained. People are taking all your energy and all your efforts. So like, don't get me wrong, I love helping, but it comes to a point where you're just like, you know what I mean? Just give me a break, man, please. Because when everyone's trying to take things from you, you're just like, oh, your brain, your mind.
And one thing I found out about that too is that like you're doing so much, but in terms of your growth in that position, you don't have control over that, right? Because just knowing you, I see you, and you're someone that wants more, and as we should,
100%.
right? And it seems like, you know, in that place, I think that's why you have. You know, like, because I know you have a lot of things going on, but is that the reason why? Because you feel where you are right now, you can't use yourself to your full extent?
So, you know, glass ceiling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel. So I'm just like, I'm not going anywhere. And it's not to say that like I didn't try to do other things. Like, you know, I put my application in different positions just because I can like, maybe I like maneuver in the company and find myself somewhere. And everyone's like, you know, Hilda, you can be a sales rep because you have that personality. You go into a store, I'm like, yeah, of course I can be a sales rep. You're buying my stuff. If I'm coming at you, you better support me, right? So everyone's like, because most of the, it's male dominated with the sales rep, but like there's few women. Like they're either like tough and like, you know, or they're just personality like me, which you don't really see, right? So I applied for that, but it just didn't go through and things like that. Like I try to do so much. I try to even be like a flight attendant, like, but it just, and that's a story in itself, but it didn't go through. So I'm always trying, like you said, because of the fact that I know that I'm not going to be moving anywhere else within my position at this point. And for me, I can't take that. It makes me go crazy.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's why now you're the most important position, which is a business owner.
Exactly.
You know, so talk to me about, I guess your first entrepreneurial efforts and, just even leading up to where you are now, right? So how did you see that entrepreneurial spark in you?
So entrepreneur for me, actually, wow, now that you're saying that, I'm like, wow, I did so much other stuff.
Yeah.
So I used to do this, it was like, it was for pain. It was like these like sticky things that you would put on. It was from like Korea. And like once you put it on, and because I was in pain, because I got into an accident like, I can say maybe like 5-6 years ago. Okay. And with that accident came a lot. So at first I was angry because I didn't cause the accident. I was literally still at a light and I got hit. So, you never understand why things are happening or why I was there at that time, things like that. Like I left work, I went to my appointment and I got hit. I was like, are you kidding me? So from that time, I kind of needed things that would help me. In my pain, right? So someone came up with this there was this business where you would have to sell these packages of I don't know if you know how Shopper Drug Mart has that what's that thing called? It's like a stretchy thing where you put on and then you can feel exactly. It penetrates into your body, things like that. So it was working really well. But the thing about that company was if you did not get rid of your inventory every month, it was happening, right? So it was an auto thing. So I was like, no, I can't do this because I started losing money. Right? Wow. So it wasn't because people weren't it wasn't like a hot seller, right? Like you have to explain, you have to make sure people test it out, things like that. So months would come by and I'm like, no, I can't do this, man. I'm not going to lose money like this.
Exactly.
So I just stopped doing that. That was my first venture. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this whole, you
got that learning experience,
right? And because of Food Fiesta, I'm although I didn't think I was a seller, I was selling, right? Exactly. Because I would recommend things and people would buy it, right? Because of they see me, they're like, this girl knows what she's talking about, you know what I mean? So like, what hair product should I use? So that started as well. So I'm like, okay, here. What should I use for pain? People were telling me information, so I would just store it, and so now I can use that to help my customers, right? So then I started doing that too, but my second adventure, I would say, is unique. So that's what I have right now. It's an online beauty and beauty business. So skincare and makeup, all natural. And I like their whole vibe. The whole motto was they help people, individuals, single mothers, just to kind of uplift themselves so that they can have the opportunity, because this is an opportunity, right? Where you can play with makeup, but yet still make money, right? So it was okay, I love makeup, right? It didn't really but at the time I didn't actually go into the business part of it.
You were just using a product, right?
Because my girlfriend it was a so hot seller, you don't even understand. It was what's this mascara? It all started with a mascara. Right now we're bigger. We have different products, but it all started with this one mascara. It was a 4D. It was called 3D at the time. But it was 2 tubes, and it just extended your lashes like no other. And I was like, this product is wicked, right? So then I'm like, and when I would wear it, people were so amazed. They thought I was wearing falsies.
Oh wow!
This is a great
seller. I don't know what falsies
is,
but it sounds
so the strips, fake lashes, or anything so they call it falsies, right? Because they're fake, right? So I'm like, why not? People want natural stuff. So I'm like, this thing, okay, I'll get into the business aspect. Again, people always see my personality and say, Hilda, you're going to do so great in this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'm convinced. You know what I mean? So I got into it, but business is another shark, right? Because if you don't know where you're going, and there's no one to mentor you, so I got into it. It was great at first. I had a couple of people on my team. Momentum was great. Then things started kind of falling apart, and I was like, gosh. And then my attitude towards it kind of shifted a little bit. People didn't make you feel good about it because it was you're always talking about your product, but I loved it so much, so I had to talk about it. We would go on trips, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff is so good. And it wasn't I was selling it. I was just telling you that I really like this product. Just like if you went to a restaurant and you loved it, Why do people leave reviews? Why do people refer people? Because you enjoyed it.
Exactly.
You're going to tell your friends, your family, right? So they can go and have that same experience. So that's what I was trying to do. But people, like, sometimes I feel like, especially when you start a business with your friends around or your family, they're the first ones to like tear you down. So that's what was kind of happening. And I'm like, oh, I'm not getting the support. But eventually I got over myself. I did a lot of readings. I did a lot of like trainings. I'm an information grabber. So I love to learn different things. And then within that, like, I just started to just really get into like the business and the marketing and learning different things. And I was shocked. Like, I'm like, you know what? 9 to 5 kind of sucks. 9 to 5 is no life. 9 to 5 actually has stolen a lot of people's lives. And not to say like everyone has to be an entrepreneur. But when you really think about it, I remember this and I'll never forget this. I read it somewhere where the person said, let's just say you're getting paid $18 an hour, right? Are you really worth like that whole hour? Are you really worth 18? Yo, that touched me so hard. I was like, you know what? It's so true when you think about it, because 1 hour is like, let me tell you, like, it's a lot. So imagine taking a whole 8 hours of your life, you know, and you're putting it into someone else's company where they're growing, but yet you're still at the end of the, you know, the line, right? Because like you're helping them be successful. Although yes, you're getting paid, you gotta wait 2 weeks. Like, why do I have to wait 2 weeks for payment? And you know, that started just like, you know, I started tearing things apart. Going like, it doesn't make sense. I'd rather be paid every day. Every second. Look at my phone. Ding, ding. That was like, so I started like my blood started boiling. I was like, yep, I love it. I love it. So I'm very like into that because I want to be successful. Of course. Like, that's my main goal. I've always said it, and and that's what it is. Like, I'm going to be like, sometimes it takes longer than some, but I'm going to be.
No, for sure. You already are. You know, I've you know, gotten to know you, and you know, and that's one thing with the Create Wealth Network. The message that we really want to get across, you know, with the wealth creators is, you know, the understanding of wealth, right? Because when people hear wealth, the first thing they think is financial, for sure, right? You know, but like just going and getting a good understanding, you know, wealth is well-being. Wealth is the feeling that you feel in, right? And then as you're in that state, everything around you just grows. So your finances grow, your relationships grow, everything grows because you're growing in wealth, right? So and of course success, because what determines success? Do you get what I'm saying? There's not really a determinant factor, right, of what that is. So we have to go to the feeling. It has to be the feeling, you know, because if it's money, right? There's people that are, you know, billionaires, but then they're miserable. Are they wealthy? You know, are they successful? Do you get what I'm saying? So of course, money definitely is required 100%. Because money helps you do everything. That's the thing. You know, it's right now, that's the exchange. Before, there used to be bartering. They used to exchange something for something, but now that note is in between. So, you know, that's what you use to exchange, right? But, you know, wealth is feeling good, you know, doing what you love, you know, and actually enjoying time. And even with, like what you're saying, the time that you have, we are so valuable, you know, so that $18 an hour, I get what you're saying. It's like the value of like how much you value yourself, right?
That's what started penetrating, right? And I'm just gonna forward because my story is
no, I want to hear it though. That's wealth talk, because your story, there could be somebody that's listening, that's watching right now, that's at that point, right? You know, and they need to hear from you. They need to hear that piece of that story, you know, maybe that bridge to get them over where they're going. So what did you want to mention?
So basically, like I was saying, like, I just, like, business for me was just more, like I said, like curiosity. And when I got into, even like with Unique and doing all that, like I got into it, and you know, sometimes you don't feel like you like belong, like, you know, even though you're doing your job and stuff like that, I just felt like the network, it was working for, like, and I still see, like, it's working for people, but maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe, like, you know what I mean? So that's what, like, when you're in business, that's what you start to think, especially when you see other people, like, oh, like, you know, showing their winnings, or like, what am I doing? Like, you know, so you're gonna feel a alone.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna feel alone. There's gonna be times where you're just like, you know what, forget it. I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But you gotta pull through, and that's what I did. I just kept feeding myself with so much information, listening to different like mentors, and then, but I was always that person who never wrote things down. Okay, because I trained myself enough to actually have like a part in my brain, because your brain is limitless, right?
Exactly.
And hence the book that I'm reading right now, Jim Wick, just saying. But your brain is really limitless. And at the time, of course, you're not going to think that because you just want to give up because things are not working out, right? But then, like I said, information, learning from other people, seeing the struggles, just like you said, because it's not all easy. And like, you know, you don't see people like, oh, I've made it, and they're living in their big house. Ask them how long it took them, right? Most people, it takes you like 10 years in order for you to be in that comfortable state. So then when I started realizing, like, it's not like, you know, just a snap of a finger. Exactly, right? Then I started to really get into like journaling, you know, and just like exercising wasn't huge yet. Although, because I was talking to you about my sciatic pain. So my sciatic was another thing that really took me down because I wasn't able to do things that I wanted to do. For example, go grocery shopping. I would be grocery shopping and I would have to stop because the pain was so brutal that I couldn't push the cart anymore. I couldn't hold my bag anymore. It was really bad. And a lot of people didn't know this because I kept it to myself a lot. And so I would go through a lot of pain. And like when you have pain within, it honestly starts to show in your face. And people are like, Hilda, why are you so like miserable? Because they know me. I was like,
exactly.
And I was starting to get to myself because the pain was just so bad. I was just like, oh my gosh. So they gave me like you know, drugs. You know, these people like, here's the drugs. I'm like, I'm not gonna do the drugs. Like I didn't want to. I'm like, my body's gonna fight this on its own. So every day when I would because I would do doubles. This time I was still doing doubles and still doing doubles. I would finish work at 9 o'clock. So I would do 9 to 5, drive to work, start from 6 to 9.
Wow.
Exactly. So then my body was just like taking a toll, like, you know, and so every time I would be done work, I literally have to sit in my car for like 10, 15 minutes.
Before you even start
just to get my feeling back, because like it was so bad that I was just like in the car like, God, please help me. Like, you know, and like, that's when as well, when you're in your like lowest state, that's when you start to really search within yourself, right? And then you're like, God, where are you? Like, you know, all of a sudden God's there. Like, and not to say like, because my mom always taught us about God, but like just the searching of yourself, it brings you higher, you know, to the one who created you. And relationships is not just like, oh, I'm just going to call you. Like, you have to like, you can't just, oh, I'm going to call God when I need him. You know what I'm saying? So then I start to learn all of that and like really getting into myself because of the pain, right? And sometimes like you have to have pain in order for things to happen, right? And so I started like, you know, going through it, and my sciatic was really bad. So if you guys don't know what sciatic is, it's a nerve, right? That's like in your buttocks area, like above. So you have like something called like L4, L5. So this is all in your body. People don't know this, right? And so mine is like punctured in to like my buttocks. So when people say pain in the bum, I'm actually feeling it, right? So it was really bad to a point where even up to like last year was when I actually got serious about like my health. And that's where you're like, oh, wealth is health, right? Because that's when I started to realize, Hilda, and the thing is, my body, my mind, everything was talking to me. Like, I'm here praying to God, but he's telling me, this is what you need to do. But I was kind of like, I don't want to exercise. I don't want to, because I was starting to feel comfortable in being in the pain and feeling sorry for myself. Now you become a victim. So I was like, I can't become this victim because I've never wanted to be depending on someone. So I've always been that independent person. No matter what, I'm doing it, right? And so when I feel like I have to depend on someone, I feel like I'm losing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Although, like, sometimes you do need that help, right?
Yeah, no, for sure,
But for me, I just like, no, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. So eventually, like I was juicing, right? But I wasn't juicing as consistent as I was supposed to if I wanted things to happen to me, right? So I was just like, you know, like 2 years ago or so, I just did a couple of juice like here and there, you know, and I'm a person who, if I go on like vacation, I can't eat certain things. Like maybe the first 2 days I'll be able to indulge. After that I get sick, right? So I just go on their juices, right? And so that's what started like the whole juicing thing. I was like, you know what, like, I kind of like the fact that I don't have to eat, but then I'm still full, like, and I'm still getting everything that I need. And when I'm on my trips, it does me well. Like nothing, I don't feel like I have to eat. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even want the food anymore. So then I was like, you know what? Let me start myself juicing. So I started juicing, and then it just started to be like, okay, feels good, tastes good, everything's good. And at the time, I didn't have like the fancy machines or anything like that. So it was blender, strain, all that stuff.
So how long ago was this?
This was like, I think 2 years ago, if I have to be like correct. 2 years ago, that's when I started to like get into it. But then last year was a year where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be serious and like be consistent about this juicing thing. So I experimented it on myself because that's how I am. Like I want to test things out before I'm like, oh, this thing is wicked, right? So then when I started to do that, I realized like, Hilda, this is gonna work for you. Just be consistent, like for real this time. Sometimes you just gotta coach yourself, right? Within yourself. And I tell this to a lot of people because I'm like a testament to that, where your mind doesn't control you. You are the real engine to your brain, okay? It's there, it's powerful, but you have switches. So if you want to do something, you can 100% do it, right? Where I was like laying down, oh, my back hurts, I can't exercise. If I exercise, so already I'm already putting it, right? I'm already putting it out there that I don't want to do it, so that's what's going to come back to me. So eventually I would be in bed, just like laying down, using my time, obviously not productive, right? So then I was like, I can't waste no time anymore, especially if I want to do things in my life. So I started, like I said, juicing. Then I started like, you know, thinking about exercising. But the only reason why is I'm asking God for help. He's telling me, so my body started talking to me, right? So where it was like, Hilda, you gotta exercise. You honestly have to exercise. I'm telling you, if you exercise, your sciatic is going to go away.
Nice.
So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna do it. So I bought outfits, you know, even if I didn't feel like doing it, I'll just put on my outfit, sitting there and going, all right, you look cute, but do something about it, right? So I'm like, okay. Started getting motivated by doing that. So that's another thing. When you don't feel like doing something and you know you have to do it, like exercising, cooking, just put the things on the top.
Sorry about that.
Just put the things on the counter, for example. Chop up everything, and even if you don't, it's already there, so you have to do it, right? So that's what I started to realize. If you want to do something, like put on your outfit, you know, do what you got to do. And it started to just penetrate in my mind, right? I started to get motivated by just that. So I started exercising, started juicing, and eventually, I'm telling you, like today, I'm like, I could go do cartwheels right now if you wanted me to, because I was always flexible too. I taught myself how to be flexible. I taught it, like, because I wanted to be in gymnastics. I wanted to be a gymnast too. Like, I have a whole bunch of things. I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be a gymnast, I wanted to be an actress, a whole bunch of stuff. But I was never strong enough.
And the sciatica kind of like made you know,
it pushed me to that, like, you have to do it. Like, this is not like I'm just gonna wait, or you have to do it. If you want your body to be where it needs to be, you have to actually put the work in. So then I started putting the work in. And now I can attest to you, juicing is medicine. Like, it is total medicine. And I know people like doctors obviously are not gonna be like, yeah, you should juice. Instead, here's some medication, right? But juicing, especially like, because it has vitamins, you have your fruits and you have your vegetables, right? And then you have other herbs that you can put in, right? That you can make it that medicine for yourself. So I started doing a lot of greens. So greens are very good for you because you got your veggies and you got, you know, so I started doing that. I brought it to work and my girlfriend's like, this tastes good, Hilda. You should like maybe start selling it. Because I was giving people like, here, taste this. And then they're like, you should start selling. And I'm like, should I? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? And then, you know, I'm like, you know what? Because I used to go to Booster Juice. It's like $14. So like, you know, like one little thing. And I'm like, and I didn't like it because it was sweet, right? Like I would get one thing, it depends on what flavor, but I would get the flavor and I love the flavor, but I would feel and taste the sweetness to it. So I was like, eh. So I started doing it myself like that. And then I'm like, you know what? Eventually, I started, I said, I'm going to start a business.
Yes.
And I started thinking of what names, and Jus came about because in French, jus is like J-U-S, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, Jus, like, because we say a lot like A, like, you know, like,
yeah,
so I'm like,
yeah.
or like,
It's a catchy name
like,
for sure, yeah.
you know, Jus. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with that. I don't know, it just came about.
Of course.
And because I just kind of split it, and sometimes you gotta like just think about it being creative. And then that's really how my Jus business really came about, and I gave birth to it, and I was really, really happy.
Yeah.
And I started getting into that too, and like now I have my bottles, and I'm just waiting for different things to like come together. But people are taking orders,
Nice.
like, you know, and the feedback I get is really good. So
Okay,
I'm happy that I took that, and the fact that I can like speak to people and let them know that honestly, wealth is health, right?
Yep.
Or yes.
Vice versa.
Vice versa. Health is wealth. Or whatever.
Exactly.
It doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
And I was very happy to get to the map book. Okay, this happened to me last year.
Yeah.
You're
almost a year
it's
in.
almost a year in.
Yeah.
So like I'm at like 185 days exact, right?
Okay.
Or 87 days, I lied. So I'm midway through, but the reason why I got into this map book and how we even know each other more, and the funny story, which I'm going to tell as well, is Bert, which is in the group, right? The wealth creating group, right? He's a wealth creator, and said, Hilda, why don't you? Because he knew I was like into the business, entrepreneur world, and he's like, why don't you just get into it? I was like, man, I just have too many things going on. I have this coach, I have this thing, and I was just like, I can't. I don't think I can squeeze this in.
Yeah.
But then eventually, that same day, we had that party. And then we met.
Exactly.
I was like, you know what, God, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Fine, forget it. So it became like, it was too obvious for me not to get into it. Because God already showed me, like, why did I meet you at that time when he spoke about the map book? And I was like, So it all came together, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna sign up. But this changed my life because it has me so much more like focused to my goals.
Nice.
And then when you told me like you know, look at the videos, do this, and you're so helpful that it was just like so easy, right? For your mind to actually go there. So when people don't know where they want to go, to have, like I said, to have a good mentor, to have someone that's going to be there and kind of be on your ass, I need that person. To be like, Hilda, what are you doing? Okay, right? And I'm like, you know, so I need that person. So when I got into this and I realized like affirmations and all, you know, all these things, and even just a repetition of like the declaration, like just saying these things like every single day, it's an affirmation, right? So you're saying it. Even if you don't believe it, honey, it's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to eventually have to believe it. Yeah, exactly. Or someone's going to have to be like, you know what? I need to believe this more. Like, you know?
Right? So it's like tic-tac-toe. Everything started to connect. The book has like, I'm just like, you feel like you can do anything pretty much, right? Because you're like, I have this book, I'm organized. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I know what I want to do, because you know, a lot of people have a goal, and this is what I found about the map book, that it breaks it down, like to the nitty gritty, right?
Exactly.
But a lot of people will be like, oh, I have a goal. Okay. So how are you going to get there? And that's where this plays part, because it's like, how are you going to get there? Now you got to write down every single thing, and you really got to think, right? And you got to make sure that everything aligns so that when actually manifests, it will come the way you actually envisioned it, right? And so I, like this, you should see my book. I'm using it. You know, like
I know. I appreciate you, honestly. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're really plugged in. And one thing that stood out to me is your discipline. Because I would say of the wealth creator, you're up there in terms of discipline. And you actually commit to the full program. You know, where you're reading it twice a day.
Exactly.
You know, and you're having your thing plugged in. Like, I'm seeing how you're doing, and I'm seeing the results. So I just wanted to actually go into that transition, because there's people who reached out to me about the map book, right? And if you reach out to me, I know that you want the book, because law of attraction, right? But they don't make that move into the book. So I want you to bring me to before until now of being in the program. Like, what was your, like, initially when Bert was telling you about it, like, what did you think it was? And at first, why did you not get involved? And then now that you're in it, you know, like, how is it different than you thought it was?
So I thought it was just like, because when he said it, like, I knew he was always writing things down, like, you know what I mean? And initially, like I said, I didn't want to get into it because I thought it was going to be like an extra thing that I had to do that like, well, because I didn't have time. I was like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not that you don't have time. Time is an illusion.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you can make time.
Yeah,
it's either it's priority or it's not, right? So then I was like, you know what? Fine. Maybe I can squeeze this in.
Yeah.
Right? But when I first got it, like I said, I didn't really know anything about it. Like even the declaration, affirmation. I'm brand new. This was like a whole course for me. And again, I get excited because I get to learn. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Play the video. Started to like realize, okay, this is what he's on. It makes sense because really that's what I was on. But I just didn't have the platform to explore, right? And so even getting into this and just writing down things, and the fact that you like even like the Focus 11, how it has like all different types of aspects that generate that whole wealth. Didn't know that, right? I didn't know there was like like things that you can look at that is actually going to come together to make that wealthy moment for you. And so like I said, the breakdown of this book is magical because for me, like breaking things down allows you to see what you need to concentrate on or focus on or so I started to like this because of the fact that like you had this group as well, right? Like every Sunday we're tuning in, so you know it gives you like, yes, I can do this. You know when you go to like a seminar or like whatever, you feel so motivated that day, you know. But this is like a continuous thing. So every Sunday you're there, you're like wealth creators. This is what's going on. Okay, I'm learning. Great, love this. So then tune in. I remember like the first like 2-3 weeks, I'm like, I'm getting 7. I'm getting 7. I wanted to be like the champion. I was like, no, I'm gonna be a champion. And then I said to myself already, and I think this is why I'm doing so well in the program, because in the beginning I already set the tone, right? I said, I'm going to, not to offend anybody, I'm gonna kick everyone's ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do this. Exactly. And it was a friendly competition. And you know, when you had your challenges and everything like that, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna do this because what happened in my life was I wanted to stop giving up. Like I wanted to be that person who like would say something and then not complete it, right? And remember when we were speaking, I was like, I read a lot of books, and I used to read a lot of books, but then it started to fall off. But this book has me now like, Hilda, you're gonna read this book. This is what's happening. So every month I was even just reading all books and like, okay, next. So it became such an easy flow. And the map book, it's not like, it doesn't interfere with your life. It's more like an intention that you're setting. Like that intention you're setting is so important because that changes your mindset. And mindset is huge. But if you have a tool that is guiding you, that's it. Like who can really talk to you? Like you get what I'm saying? So I just, honestly, I like it. And like I'm on it next year. Like I have to have it. Like, you know, it becomes like like you said, dopamine. Like it's a fix, right? So like, I'm gonna write it down. Even like the day I went on the beach, I brought it with me.
Of course.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't forget the back book. So it becomes like, I have to have it, like, you know, like, and it becomes a part of you, and it's good because it makes you that much more creative within your art, which is your goal intentionally, right? So I love it.
No, I know, I appreciate that.
Useful.
And that's what I'm saying. It took over 15 years of studying information for it to even get to this point where it is right now, right? And that's why, you know, when people see it, my whole goal was for it to be simple, right? And the simplicity of it is where I want for people to actually get involved because, for example, you read the book 5 to 10 minutes a day, right? That was important to me because I know everyone has something going on, right? So the 5 to 10 minutes that you have to read a book, no one can say they don't have 5 to 10 minutes, right? So you decide that, you know, do you want to give yourself 5 to 10 minutes a day? Because when we go out, we're doing everything for everybody else. Right? We're everyone's reacting. What they're doing is react. Oh, this happened. Okay, I got to do this. Okay, this happened. I got to do this. Right? But when you're in your map book and you're reading your map, you're giving yourself that time because everything in the map book,
it's you.
Exactly.
It's you. It's your diary. It's your like I said, it's your goals. It's like it's a personal thing. It becomes like not like a Bible, but it's like your personal thing. Like you don't want to like screw it up because then you're gonna fall off.
Of
right?
course.
So like and that's the thing, and I like it because like I said, it honestly has me like concentrating and it has brought people to me.
No, of
like,
course.
And I already knew, but like because I do I did all that, and that's why I'm like, it's like a piece to a puzzle that was just missing.
Yeah. It's part of your attraction. Exactly. Honestly, I know everybody that's on board, everyone who's a wealth creator, attracted this.
100%.
You know?
Right?
For sure.
Right? So, and like I said, and that day wouldn't happen if it wasn't something like
no, I noticed that as well.
That day was so creepy. I was like, I'm like, this law of attraction is
But it's not
real.
creepy no more though, right?
No.
Because now it's trying to happen to you all the time. Everything that you're seeing right now.
100%.
But that's what,
But it's a recognition, right?
Exactly.
And I tell people this all the time. If you recognize, like for example, if you have a habit and you don't realize like it's a habit, but you put attention to it and then you start to recognize, like recognition for me is huge. So when I recognize like that day when it happened, I had to realize like there's forces that brought us together. There's no other thing, right? God knows what he's doing, right? And so people have to be aligned in your life in order for you to obviously go within what he has for you. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone has a purpose here, right?
For sure.
And I've always said to myself, I don't want to leave this world without having like a presence or importance to someone or touch someone's life. And so for me, like it's very important to me. So what really at the end of the day, it's like what's important to you, right? Like what do you want out of life? Don't say like nothing, because you have a purpose, right? Whether it's like helping this person here or like whatever, you did something to someone's life that has changed their life. So never feel like you're not worthy of anything. It's just pushing for the higher limits. And when they say the sky's the limit, it's honestly true. It's just how you're gonna go about it to get there, right? So like I said, this is
Swiss Beats. It says sky's not the limit; it's the view. Because right now, while we're here, that's what we see. But there's more out there. Even.
You're right.
So
right.
And definitely. But I want to get back to your discipline, because that's something that really interests me. Like,
for sure.
Where did this discipline come in? Because you're very disciplined.
And it's true, because I wasn't always like that. You're right. And like I said, this book, because I have to like sit there, it's like a moment with yourself. It's like meditation, right? With meditation, like it's hard because it's your mind. You have to take everything else out, right? So this started to become like my meditation, right? Because it's like, okay, now I'm writing down things and like, and with writing, it's really reciprocal. Like you take it in more.
It's emotion, right? Emotions that get involved as well, because you're into
Exactly. So it's like this book, I can write things down. It's me. It's what I want to do. It's what I can accomplish. And I remember like when I post things and people are like, Hilda, I'm looking at I'm like, you are? Like I didn't even know people were looking at like my critical sevens every day. I was like, oh, okay. So sometimes you just don't even know what you're doing that can impact someone else's life. So that started giving me more motivation as well, right? Like, Hilda, you're very focused, you're very disciplined. And like I said to you, like I wanted to do something where I was not going to give up. So this book, it's like, no, I'm going through the whole year, like I'm not giving up. Like that's it. That's it. And so that was how I got disciplined. Because for me, it was like, you always read a book halfway, don't finish it. You say you're gonna do this, then you don't do it. But this is like, you have to do it. Because remember, at the end of the day, our group is an accountability group as well. So that's huge, right? Because when you're doing things on your own and no one's there to be like, oh, so you didn't do this or did you do this? And I love how you just always, hey, wealth creators, you didn't tune in here. You're like, oh God, where's my map of work? So that even the other day, I was like, it's not my fault. I'm working. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So it's just like the discipline and like I think you have to kind of put not a fear, but you have to put an importance to it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, at the end of the day, what's important to you? Like, did you want to really reach your goal or did you not? And like with reading, like it's honestly opened up my mind, where the map book is honestly it's something like you don't have to think about it. If you're aligned to that like mindset, that's why the group is great, because everyone's under that like same mindset where it's like, I want to improve myself. And I've always been like, oh, I don't know what my talents are, like things like that. So me and my sister were like, we don't have no talents, like me and my older sister. And eventually I was like, God showed me wrong. Like he's like, you're wrong. You all the way wrong, girlfriend. You're good in this. My skills in my makeup started improving. I made this wig.
Okay.
Like, I'm stepping it up. Like people are like, you made this wig. I'm like, yes. Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm really starting to get into that creative like niche that I really knew I could do. Like, and then my sisters now will be like, oh, maybe we should have let you go to school.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's never too late either, right? I'm like, now you guys see what I was really talking about because it's like I'm so interested in even with like cooking, right? Like it's nothing to me. I'm very artistic with it too because I really feel like cooking, makeup, those type of things, they're arts, right? And it's a part of you. Once it's a part of you, and that's why I said this book becomes a part of you. Once it's a part of you, it's like, okay, if you disown it, then you're disowning a part of you, right? So that's why it's a very important. It's like reading your Bible too, right? Like, you know, these type of things are really good for you because it's a recipe, right? For that creation to happen. You need that part to like really just kind of uplift you. And this like I said, the map book has done that for me. Like where it's like, okay, I'm gonna tune in like information I'm getting. It's informative. And like I said, already I was always an information seeker. So I always like to know and like that someone's there to help me and can explain things too, right? Because you might have information, but you don't get it because someone doesn't explain it. And you do a perfect job at doing that. Thank you. I feel like, you know, if you're in the group, you're going to love it because you feel comfortable. You get what I'm saying? It's not just your platform and the fact that you've made it like, guys, it's all of us.
Of course.
We're working together.
That's the law of one, right? So the law of one, you know, like people would think it's individual. It's not. There's no, it's all about we.
Exactly.
You know, that's how you're gonna get anything done.
100%.
We. You have to work with other people.
Exactly.
You know, even if you're gonna sell a product or a service, there's somebody that has to buy it. Right, so it's always on a we mentality and a win-win, right?
Exactly.
So no, it's definitely. But so the map book got you this because and I want to know like. Apart from even the stuff that you're putting in the book, would you say that everything else you're noticing that you're more disciplined in as well?
Of course. Like, okay, so it's funny. So my room, always been messy. Like, you know, not like, I'm like a messy, organized person. That's what I call myself. Because if I leave something there, it better be there. So sharing like room like with my sister was a pain because she was like a neat freak. So like I would come back to my room and things were just like gone. And that would get me so angry because I'm like, I know I put it here, you know, so I'm just that person. But when I got this, it got me disciplined because I started to do things that I wasn't doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even though I had it in my hand and I thought I had it all in my head and I could chop every single thing. No, because this is a discipline because now that check mark, right? You become like, oh, I need that check mark, that addiction, like, oh, check mark. And if I don't get it, I'm like, man, should have done this first, or man, like, you know, so it's just like, it's kind of like a game, right?
Of course.
It's kind of like, you know, people are so addicted to video games. Make this your video game. You get what I'm saying? Get into that. Put all that time that you're using that's distracting you into something that's going to build you. And so that became like, that's where I got my discipline because I started to actually do things that I wasn't doing that I meant to do. And this put it all into perspective because now I have to do it. I wrote it down. I got a check mark. I need the check mark. I need to make sure my score is good. I've always been that person. I told you, like I put myself, I'm a nerd, so I need those scores. Like, you know, I can't get 50. 50 is not good enough. Like, you know what I mean? So that's me. And everyone to each his own. But I feel like if you start to put that type of like belief, you know, because a lot of people have limited beliefs, right? But if you twist it around and you make the belief like more positive, more like to like setting a goal, that becomes so much better. Like, you know, a lot of people are depressed because it's like they don't have a way, they don't know where to go. But even with that, it's like if you honestly, it's a healing thing, but it's a process. Everything is a process. It didn't just come to me where I'm like, yes, everybody, like now I could, yo, you want to do some like workouts? I'm gonna do it. Like, it wasn't always like that. I had to build. There were struggles. Like, there's still days where I'm like, my whole body hurts and still. I went to the beach. I ran. I said, what? Why did I even do that?
Yeah.
It wasn't even the next day and I was feeling the pain, so I had to soak myself. But now I know that I have to do certain things in order for me to heal, in order for me, so if I don't do my juicing, if I don't, and that's why it's very important, and I want to talk about like juicing and how it's healthy and how people are not even getting their vitamins.
Let's get into that. So because I'm obviously following you on Instagram, I see every day you have a different juice. You have some pink juice and you have some green juice, and I even see you eating fruits that I've never tried before. I'm like, what is that? Like,
exotic fruits.
But that's what I'm saying. So you have like an expanded knowledge on juicing. 100%. So for the listeners and watchers, please let us know more about juicing. Like, why juice? What kind of juices are they? Yeah. What do they do for you? Yeah. Like if you could go more into that.
So I'll just do it quick, but for me, juicing, basically, like the greens are like, you have to have greens. A lot of people run away from greens because
what are greens?
Greens are basically like anything from like Roman lettuce, kale, spinach. So I have cucumber. Broccoli. Okay. Like, so all the green, like vegetable-y stuff. Okay. People want to stay away from because they don't want it.
Because no flavor.
They're like, it's gonna be so gross. I go, no. Trust me. Like I said, trust the process. Yeah, exactly. Trust me. If you take a sip, you're not even going to know that all those things are actually combined in this juice. So I start testing out. Just try my green juice. My supervisor would come. Ew. I'm like, ew, more like, yes, you should be drinking this. Forget the McDonald's, forget everything else. Because honestly, when you start to cleanse your body, the whole thing is like the green juice cleanses you, right? So it gives you a whole reset for your body, right? So now you're just like, oh, I'm fresh. Things start to like, you know what I mean? You get your minerals, you get your vitamins, and that's why juicing is very important, because on a daily basis, that's what I start to realize. My energy was starting to go low. I'm like, I'm only 33 at the time. I'm like, I'm only 33. Why am I so tired? I would go to work in the morning, super tired. And then, first of all, I don't sleep early, but still, it would affect me even more. So I'm like, coffee, get coffee. Okay. So I was a coffee person. So for anyone out there who's like, oh, no, I am a coffee drinker because of the university and all that stuff. So I got into the habit of doing that, right? And so that was a high though, right? Because it only gives you enough energy for a certain amount of time. And then you start to crash. So I started to crash a lot. And then I started to jot down in my mind, like, okay, Hilda, at 3 o'clock, you crash. Why? Hilda, at 3. But that's the thing, it's very important to know, like, this is huge for me. To get to know yourself is so important to me. And I really want people to know that you have to take the time to really get to know yourself. Because like you said, a lot of times we do things for so many other people, we don't really hone into ourselves. But that is very, very important, because that is going to determine your actions or your reactions to certain things in life, right? So for me, that's what like happened and triggered for me to be like, you know what, I'm going to be going on this path. Juicing is amazing because you get your servings. You need your servings, right? You need that energy, and you can't expect the food out there in this industry to help you build anything. That's why home cooking is super important. I was just watching a nutritionist talking about that, right? Like, home cooking is very important, because remember, at the end of the day, you know what you put in your food. You don't know what they're putting in there. And remember, out there, they put enough sugar, enough salt, because it's an addictive, right? So now you're like, oh, that was so good. No, you're addicted to the salt. You're addicted to the sugar. You're addicted to the thing that's not helping you, right? They're putting these things in your food because they want you coming back. It's a whole cycle, right? So you got to remember that if you want to be healthy, you got to make sure it's a balanced diet. I'm not saying don't eat this, because there's days where I'm like, okay, I want my chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like don't eat this, but be precise, like different, like, you know what I mean? And make sure you put in your greens. Make sure, and
because I heard everything is from the gut. Like, if you see stuff on the outside, it starts all in the gut.
Everything, even skin. People that have problematic with their skin issues. I was one person who's like, oh my gosh, my skin breaks out a lot and things like that. So, but it's all within your blood. So if you're purified, and that's where beets comes in, because beets is a purifier. So that's another drink people want to run away from. I'm like, no, you come here and you drink these beets. When you drink the beets, I'm gonna give you a sample. But when you drink my beets, I'm gonna give you a sample first, and then you tell me which flavors you like. But let me tell you, the beets is so good. Like, I like beets because I tried it like cooked, right? But I was just like, oh, okay. Even one, like the other day, I cut it up and ate it. I was like, this can be like chips. Like it's actually like it's not bad, but people think it's so bad. But when I juice things, remember it's taking like so when you're juicing, depending on what machine you have, it can take more of the fiber.
Okay.
So for me, I had to be very precise in what I wanted to do and what intention I wanted to set with my juices. Okay. So I wanted my juice to be cold pressed juices. I wanted to have as much minerals as.
What does cold press mean?
Cold press is like, so what happens is when you're juicing, right? It takes away a lot of like the nutrients if you don't have a good juicer.
Okay.
So cold press is it actually holds everything together. So when you're juicing, you're gonna see like you don't get a lot of the fibers just dashing out. Because you know, like when you juice like with a blender, you have a lot
like
of
a smoothie. When you make a smoothie, you have everything's inside, right?
Smoothie, everything's inside. Fibers in there. But with juicing, you lose the fiber, right? So you get your nutrients, your vitamins, but you lose your fiber. So I had to get a machine that was like it's called centrifugal. Like there's centrifugal and there's like, which is like different terms, but there's ones where like it extracts everything or it destroys everything, right? So I had to get a machine that it brings everything together. So you're getting everything. You're getting everything. So even though like you're losing some fibers, you weren't losing like, let's just say you're going to lose 50% of the fibers. This machine is going to allow you to lose like 5% of the fibers. So you're getting, like my machine is so slow because it's literally like pressing everything from that fruit or vegetable that you just actually put in.
Wow.
Right? So sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be here all day. Because it's like and the blade, like the blade is different. That's another thing with juicers, right? So if you get a juicer where the blade is going like that means it's destroying the nutrients and it's destroying things. So this is a slow process. So it's really just taking its time to really press everything out of it. So you get what you paid for pretty much, right? You're getting everything in there. So the greens are for like cleansing. The beets, it's for detox. And then I've got different ones. So I've got an orange carrot, which is also a detox. Like trust me, like if you drink that, you're just like, Hilda, I'm in the washroom. But I like to hear that. But I like that gives me like that, you went to the washroom? Amazing. That means I did my job because my intention with my juices is that it actually cleanses you out, it resets your body, and it gives you the energy that you deserve. We all deserve that because with energy, with feeling good inside, and like you said, all from the gut. So if you feel good inside, you're going to do extraordinary things. So and people are really busy, right? And so I thought, why not? People are so busy. I don't have time to do this and cook up this. It's all in this juice. Drink it up. You already got your servings for the day. Don't worry about it.
Oh, so it's one a day and you're good?
You do 16 to 32 ounces.
Okay.
So normally I just do one a day. So I'm good because I already put,
something like that, I could do that.
100%.
Exactly.
Like I said, one juice, and mine are 500 ml, and that's huge because a lot of people it's either like 2 something, you know, like they don't give you the 500 because it's a lot of goodies in there. Like, you know, like I said, my juice, like the green one has kale. It has spinach, it has, and these are high in like nutrient, factual, like, you know what I mean? So the kale, ginger, inflammation. So I like to make sure that I have everything component touched. So when you're drinking this juice, you know you're good to go. Right?
So for the people who order your juices and stuff like that, how do they know like what juices like to get? Like, because it seems like the ginger and the kale, all the stuff that they do, you know, like how do
so basically with all my juices, there's lemon and ginger. Most of my unless it's a fruit juice, like a mango, I don't put, like my mango juices, I have mango lemonade, I don't put ginger in there. Sometimes I do, depends. So for me, I always ask, what are you trying to do? Like, what is your full purpose of taking this juice? Because I don't want you to come in to just drink juice as if it's like just juice from the supermarket. Like there has to be an intention as to why. Did you need a cleanse? Okay, now I'm going to like direct you more into these juices because people like sweet things. So they're, I want this. No, you're gonna go for the greens, you're gonna go for the beets, you're gonna go for the orange, you're gonna go for the things that you wouldn't typically drink because your body needs a reset, right? Like you can have like a mango, whatever, because I still now like I got into sea moss. Like, you know, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. Like you learn so much within the juice like industry that you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy because I found something else. I was like, this, actually, it's a wealthy moment, so I can talk about it. But it was a wealthy moment. I was searching, and like, one of my girlfriends came over the other day, and she's like, Hilda, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you with the marketing part. And then I was like, oh, okay, right? Like, she just generous. So I was like, wow, people charge, and like, you know what I'm saying? So she's like, no, we're gonna do this, okay? She's like, because she had my juice, and she's like, Hilda, this is so good. I'm like, okay. Because you do it because you drink it all the time.
Exactly,
like, so when people compliment you like that, you're like, oh, I didn't know it was like, I knew it was good, but that good? Damn,
so she juiced already, and then she tastes yours. She didn't juice.
No, she doesn't always.
Not
juice.
often,
She's a healthy person.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
She's, health conscious. But she's never tried my juices. But she comes over a lot, right? Because initially she's like my man's friend. But then she started becoming mine. So then, like, I'm doing juicing. I'm like, oh, this girl didn't even ask me for juice yet. Cool. I see her working out, whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll see. One day it will happen. And then, tick, tick, tick. Hey, can you get me some juices? And she started off with the beets. I gave her 2 beets, and it was just like nonstop.
Nice.
Like, hey, I'm gonna have to place another order for beets because I'm telling you, it's like a mix. Because in the beets, you have to put things that are going to kind of take away from that taste of that people don't want, right? Even with kale and stuff like that, you got to put ingredients together, and that's where like the whole
cooking, that's what I'm saying. That because not right now I'm taking you in. It's like
a whole.
You're kind of. It's like you're cooking something, but it's juice.
Exactly.
So you're using the same kind of thing where you have mixing.
100%, because you
so
can't
it tastes the right way.
Right? You can't just throw things when you're cooking. Like, it's not gonna taste good. So you go, should I put salt? Should I put this? So it's like that, right? And with the juicing, and I've read, there's ways of juicing. So it's not just throw things in. It's actually like, you got to put this first, and this, and then this, and then this, and then this. Then everything mixes together. So that's why people's juices don't taste like mine, right? Because I have I have like an actual recipe, but like going down my recipe. I'm not just throwing, because if I do, like, let's just say like I put like kale, and then I put like celery. That wasn't supposed, like, the stages, there's stages to juicing. So people don't know this. People just juice. Oh, I'm just juicing. So why did you come buy my juice? I'm just saying, like, why are you buying my juice if you can juice, right?
Exactly.
But also juicing takes a lot of time. So if you're not passionate about it, don't get into the business.
And if you have a juicer, more than likely it's one that lets everything go, and you're not getting anything. So.
Because my juicer was pretty, like, it was a good, decent price, right? And I had to make sure that I'm investing in something that's going to give you everything and not take away, right? So that's why, like, when you drink it, I don't mix water in my juices. Like, a lot of these stores, when you go, like, it's not like fully juiced, right? They put something in there, like, so mine are freshly pressed juices. Like, they come out fresh. I store them in the fridge, and they last 3 to 5 days because they're fresh. So you can't keep them like for a whole this. I'm trying to find a way where I can extend the shelf life. But I don't want to do it. There's 2 ways. You don't
want to compromise the
product, right?
There's
2 ways. The ones in the stores, and this is what I have to tell people too, the ones in the stores, many of them do it like, there's a procedure where they put it in like hot, like heat, like water, but that destroys everything, all the nutrients,
inside
all the nutrients. That's why when you drink the ones in the store, you're like, tastes good, but like, but the nutrients
you're not getting
are not
the same
there.
Kind of energy.
Exactly, unless it's like, if the bottle says cold press, then you know you're good. But a lot of these juices, like the juice boxes, there's no benefits to that stuff. No. We're just drinking it, but there's no actual benefit to it. So for me, if you're gonna juice, do it naturally. In the islands, they do it naturally. They juice their oranges. Like, you gotta just do it naturally, because that's what's going to be pure for your body to take in, and it helps with your skin. So even the carrot one helps with your skin. So it all depends on what that's why I'm like, if someone's gonna come to me, I need to know what your issue is. So I need to diagnose it, and then I'm gonna say, like, I would, you should drink this. But the greens and the beets, you can drink every day. It doesn't really matter, right? But like, if you're someone that like, I want to go on a plan kind of a thing, then okay, these are the juices that I'll put you on.
So what about someone like me? Like, I get up. I'm usually on the road a lot, and I'm moving around, right? I try to be as active as possible, right? I go to the gym, play ball or whatever, but in terms of juicing, okay, I understand the detox and the purification, right?
Energy.
But what about a juice that just tastes good, that I like, and it just does stuff for me? Which juice is that?
They're all
of them?
they're all like that. But the one that you would be like, oh my gosh, like mango pineapple is like a treat.
Okay.
But I still put the ginger in there.
Nice.
But you just don't taste it as much.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you know what I mean? I still like if I want to really give you a boost, I'll put some sea moss gel in there.
Okay,
so it all depends. Like if you want extra, and so that's why I can't wait to do my website, because then it's like the bonus. These are boosters, like right? Like if you want extra ginger, because some people really want to taste the ginger in the juice, right?
What is the website?
So my website is not up yet.
Okay.
It's up and coming. So right now it's just like my Instagram,
right?
which is Juice, Juee. Juices, CP. So that's Instagram.
Nice.
So you can follow me there. And if you need an order, just DM me. Simple. And that's how it's been going. I just had an order from a lady, and I like to have feedback. So when people take my things and they don't really say anything, I'm like, was it bad? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was it good? Like, what did you... So I do a follow-up, right? I got to follow up and make sure that you were satisfied. Because, first of all, you need people to come back too, right? So you got to make sure that you put that in the importance.
And it's about that service.
Yeah, and I need to know that, you know, it works for you, right? That's the whole
That's why you're doing the juicing for it.
Right? I don't want to just, I just drank it and... No, I need to know if it really actually works for you, you know? And
so I noticed that you're really particular with detail, right?
Yes.
You know, so... can you explain this more? Like, why is it important to have detail in everything? Because everything you're talking about, you're talking about, the salt, the sugar, this, that. Like, why is it important for someone to be detailed? Okay,
so you got to be detailed because, like, if you're going to put out something, like if you're going to put out a product, you have to make sure that it's going to, the outcome of it is what you initially had in mind, right? So my goal is this juice is going to purify you. So you're gonna have to poo. Like if you don't poo, I have to do something else with this juice. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So you have to be precise because the results have to it has to impact what your initial.
What you have in mind, you want that to be the result.
You want that to come out. Right? So my whole thing is like, you're cleansing, and that's why studying different herbs, is very important because now I can it's not like I'm a juice doctor, but I can give you juices that are going to help you. And trust me, people have been obese. I read that there's this guy named Joe the Juicer or something like that, where he was super obese. Started juicing for like a whole year. Man slimmed down, no disease, no nothing. It's because there's preventable diseases, blood pressure, cholesterol. These are all things that you can prevent if you give your body the right nutrients. And that's really as simple as it is. I want people to know that it's not just it's not as difficult as you think. That's why I want people to know it's a balanced diet. Because it's not like do keto, be a vegan. No, because not everybody I don't want to eat no plants every single day of my life, right? So if you have a balance where you're putting that in your diet,
whatever it is you do, right? So so you can still live the same lifestyle you're living, but throw some juices in there because these are things that you're not going to have on a daily. Someone that's busy like you, you don't have time. So you're gonna I'm going to fast food or no, but if you had juicing, and my boyfriend is attest to this. If there's no juice in the fridge, there's no juice in the fridge. No, because now you're because you need it. He uses it before he works out. And that's a thing too. In the mornings, when you're hungry. The whole thing about juicing for me and what's important is because I learned that when you're sleeping, it's 8 hours. Let's just say you do 8 hours or 6 hours, whatever time you're sleeping, your body is reconstructing itself during that time process, right? So it's resetting itself. So once you wake up, you can't give your body a shocker. So that's what people do with going to grab coffees, going to go grab muffins, and it's clogging. Energy drinks are becoming really popular.
And the energy is only limited. But I want you to feel limitless. So now you grab a juice and you're I'm good to go. And honestly, even though I sleep late, and trust me, you know how I am. I'm a night creeper. I will wake up with enough energy. With enough energy because I've already juiced. And every morning, I'm in the washroom. I might not look cute, but guess what? I'm in the washroom. Okay? And it feels good because it's you can, like you said, it's the gut. So you can feel the release. You can feel it pulling. My skin has never been people are oh my gosh, and I used to be I'm gonna wear makeup all the time. You know what I'm saying? But it's not it's like when you juice, it's like the purity of your body you can never ever get if you're just doing nothing else. Like, you know, because like I said, people don't have time. Like every single day, do you have any like spinach in your foods? Do you have salad?
My wife throws it in there still, and you know, she's doing an amazing job. I have to give it up to her. Like she'll give me like vitamins and you know, like she'll throw like in our foods, because she's on that too, and her mom is really into that as well. But not the juices aspect. It's more the vitamins and you know, and take your
and that's the thing, because juices are vitamins.
Yeah, exactly.
They're minerals, they're vitamins. I think this goes. They're juices and they have everything in it. So I can juice and still take my vitamins, right? But it has so much compacted in this thing that it's like you can get your nutrients from these vegetables. You can get like. That's why God gave it to us. People think like, I was just watching a video and the guy had an apple, right? But there was a $100 bill behind him. But because you're focused on this one thing, you didn't notice there was $100 behind him. When he did that, I go, that's how Eve got trapped. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because God was like, you have like, look at all these trees behind you. You have everything that you can indulge in. Why did you take that one apple? Do you understand? So in life, people just indulge in like what they know, but they don't expand their knowledge, right? So you gotta, like I said, you got to get to know your body. Your body is very important.
For sure.
That's why skin is your largest organ.
You know, focus 11 where the physical, you know.
It's so important because with a good body, with a good like diet, it works because your mind starts to work even more and differently. And differently. I'm telling you, I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. The energy doesn't stop. Like, I just had a greens before I came here. That's probably why I'm just like, because like it just doesn't stop. Like, and I don't feel tired. I'm very energetic, and the fact that I'm now like consistently exercising is so huge because your mindset changes. You are what you eat, and when they say that, it's legit. Like, it is legit. What you put in your body is what you're gonna get out. So when you can't do certain things, it's because you did that to yourself. Right. So you gotta make sure you're very like intuitive, you have like a connection with your body. Just like people want to have a connection with their minds, you have to have a connection with your body. And now,
that's
like,
what we're moving on with, right?
And see, what I was talking to you about, like putting things that my body does not accept anymore. So now my body is able to reject things. So I went out yesterday and I had a couple of things to eat, but my body now talks to me. So it's like, Hilda, that wasn't a good idea. So I get clogged right away. I get clogged. Damn, I gotta have a juice because I have to I can't feel this way. Because what happens?
Feel it, like
it's in your gut. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I feel so compressed. Like, you know, it's not free. You have to allow your body to be free. And with juicing, it goes everywhere, like everywhere. And that's why your skin can look beautiful without doing it. And people are gonna, my friend was juicing, like she was like my first customer. People are like, what are you doing? It's not, it is what she's doing. She's putting more of that.
They asked her that.
They asked her because her skin was like it was glowing. You get a natural glow. You know, all these products, you know, you can glow. No, it's from the inside out, right? You can use all these products to kind of like, you know, emphasize the glowing, but it's really what's inside, and drinking water is huge as well. We are like 90% water, right? So you got to start to realize what's important to you. And that's like I always say, at the end of the day, is it important to you? Do you want to feel better? And I want it to feel better because my energy at the age I'm looking, and so I said to myself, if I'm feeling this way, there must be other people that feel this way, where they feel like they're crashing, you know, where they can't do certain things. Like, then you can't be productive in your own life, right? So health, wealth, it's like
it's one and the same. For sure. No, thank you for expanding on that too. You know, and I
talk a lot with my hands.
No, hey, I did the same. But you know, that's how you get the point out. You gotta get the,
you know, passionate about something.
Exactly. You gotta get the point out. You know, for sure. You're sending that energy to the people. You know, for sure, because you know, like the juicing. You know, I heard about it, but even this conversation I had, it just opened my mind up to a lot more. I definitely told you I'm definitely gonna order it, so I need my diagnosis. For sure. You know, and you know, for the family, and you know, make it something that is common, where you 100%. Know you always have it.
The kids even love it. That's the whole like craziness about this. My nephew wants the greens, and remember, kids don't like their vegetables. So hi. hi, this is super amazing because you can now give them as a juice format and they think it's a juice. Put it in their bottle, here you go. But you know they're getting everything in because there's kids that don't want to eat. I was that kid who never wanted to eat. My mom had to force me. And I have proof right here. She had to like put the cup and like really try. So now I have marks. So when I grew up, I'm like, Mom, what's these like marks I have here? She's like, I had to force you to eat.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Serious.
So it's really serious. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you got to just know what you want for yourself. At the end of the day, it's just as simple as that. Like it's simple, but it's not, you know, but but if you love yourself enough, you will put the effort in it.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
And it all comes with a whole mindset thing too, and doing these things, like incorporating things that are going to motivate you and get you there. So I really appreciate.
I thank you, but I just want to go into relationships, right? You know that's one of the aspects in the Focus 11. And it's something that you really stand out in. I see you, like you said, you have that close relationship with your sister.
Yeah.
I see you, NT, with your niece and nephew
yes,
all the
yes,
time.
yes.
So talk about that. Talk about the importance of, the relationship, not with just your family, but like, the people around you. Like, talk about that more.
So for me, like, relationships are really important because even the Bible, it talks about having relationship. We were not put on this earth to be alone, or else mentally you'll go insane, right? So communicating with people, because first, like you said, we're all one. So like, I will drop something that maybe you didn't know, but you're picking it up now and you're using it in your life. You get what I'm saying? So relationships are important because you get to meet different personalities, different people. Get to, like, if I have a relationship with this person, and you have different relationships too. Ones that are closer, ones that are this. Maybe you have friends because they can help you here, and so it's all intertwined. But relationships to me are really, really important because at the end of the day, when you need someone, and not to say like people are always going to be there for you, but when you have that tight-knit relationship with someone, you can know that you can trust this person to be there for you when you need them, right? So
and I see you offer yourself a lot though.
Because creating relationships for me, it's like, everyone needs like a family knit, right?
Exactly.
Like, and that's why when even like growing up, I was like, oh, I don't really have that many friends. It is a thing. Like even the old people that live in their homes, right? Like it's hard. Why do you think that people come in and talk to them? Because if you don't, you feel lonely. You feel, especially if you're already like in that down slope, and you don't have friends or anyone to even talk to, or even that one person, like it will change your life, right? So it's like, it's all a matter of and people are like more like introvert or whatever, and I was like that. I was honestly like that. Like you wouldn't even know. Like if I don't know you, I'm that introvert person. Okay? I'm just like, but I'm very also curious as to like, what other people are thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, everyone has a different place in this world. So creating relationships are really important because you get to broaden who you are and your mind as well. So that's why relationships are important to me.
Thank you.
And love is huge. Love is huge. Love heals, right? So if you love, and then you become selfless. Right? When you love, that means it's a part of you that you're giving another person. Right? So now you're just like, I'm loving this person. And honestly, my nephew is honestly the reason why I was like, I'm having kids. Like, because he just like, it's a love that you can't explain. And when you get connections with people, with me, I have like, I'm very good at like knowing if someone's not good for me. Like, like I have that, like God has given me that, like that spirit where it's like, okay, this person, it's just not gonna work out. I already know, right? I already know their mindset before I even although I like, people might be like, don't do that, or like whatever, but it's not like I'm judging. I just know by that, like the whole vibe, right?
Exactly.
So even when I go to Jamaica, this is where I know like my whole vibe, because people tell me like, you have this energy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whatever, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just normal, I'm just me, right? But when I go to Jamaica, and the way I attract people, and I don't really have to say anything, but they feel like they can like talk to me or like, and that's where I knew it's huge. Even one day, this one lady, I have to always see the story because it just makes me laugh. This old lady said to me, she's passing, she wasn't even talking to me, and I was working, I was on my break, and she's like, I don't trust anybody, and she's all miserable, like, I don't trust nobody, and she's trying to go to the washroom, but she's in her wheelchair, and she had like a cane or something, I don't know, and I was just sitting there doing my homework, because like, whatever, it's break, and so she wants to go to the washroom, but I see her like looking back at me, and I was just like, okay, like whatever, who cares? Then she ended up coming to me after she just said she don't trust nobody. I don't trust anybody, blah, blah, blah. So how did she get attracted to me? Like, you get what I'm saying? So I know now that like I have a type of energy that other people can use as well, right? Like I go to my sister's house and if she's just sitting on the couch and like not doing anything, and I come, I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, Hilda, you made me like get up, like her energy's different, like, and that's how I know energy is huge.
Oh, it's huge.
It's
for
huge,
sure,
right? Because you can impact someone without really knowing, but you're just your aura alone. It's like it's good enough.
You're a free spirit. You're a free spirit, and and that's why I'm so happy that your business is thriving and it's growing. Because it will allow you to be more free as well. You can express that more. We definitely more of that.
We need that, and in the Black community, we're not really health conscious like that, right? We don't maybe know too much, and really like the African foods for me are pretty healthy in a sense. Right? Because I used to eat like green plantain. I never used to eat like fried this and fried like it's not really a thing unless we're making like stew. You're gonna fry up the chicken or whatever, right?
Or even the stews, you could use alternative oils.
Exactly, right? Even like my mom started becoming, because you'll get to a point in your life where things are going to happen, like either when you're getting older, you're going to get like high blood pressure or this, but it's from the beginning. That's why I want to make sure that like people from like 18, because you're in school, you're doing this, so people from like 18 to 35, really please be conscious of what you're doing, because 35 is like the mark, you're getting there, so you got, and 18 it's like you're starting that venture, but you want to make sure, trust me, if you have good like diet, everything else will flow too, right? It's like having a good book or having a good mentor. You just need that piece of the recipe to help you and like motivate you and boost you to like actually accomplish what you want in life. It's really so simple. Like it's a simple ingredient, but you have to get it. Right? It's there for you. Just like the Matrix. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's there for you. Like, you got to experiment, but it's there for you. Right? So, I really find that's really huge.
No,
really,
thank
really
you
huge.
very much. Thank you.
Problem.
This is property. I asked for a lot of good content. You give tons of it.
I did.
Appreciate you.
I have so many stories.
That's great. Thank you, Hilda. And again, please plug in. Plug in what you can. Like, how do people reach you? Whatever businesses you have. Just please, share.
For sure. So for my Coco Luscious Beauty Bar, so that is my beauty and skincare. We have natural products there. You can find me on Instagram, and my name is COKO Lashes LASHES Beauty BEAUTY Bar. So that's all one word, and you're gonna find me on Instagram with that. You can always, there's gonna be a website, so that's where you can actually buy products. But if you have any questions about your skin, or even just what makeup you want or anything like that, you can ask me for that. And for men, skincare is also really important. So if you want to know what works for you, we have a customized skincare. So that is like to the individual. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's also important too, right? And then for my juicing business, again, you can find me on Facebook. Facebook actually. Juice, JUSEE, Juices, JUICESCP, right? So it's cold press. That's what it stands for. And that's also on Instagram, and that's also on Facebook. If you need to contact me, just DM me. Right now, that's what I'm taking. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. That's what I'm taking.
Thank you very much. God bless you, Hilda.
No problem. I appreciate it.
I'm so grateful that you're on board with the program, and I love seeing the results. Thank you for staying plugged in and sharing your experiences, the wealthy moments. That's what we all need to help get us to that next level. So that's the Wealth Talk. And we're gonna have you on here again as well, multiple times.
And
we're even discussing some more. You're gonna see her all over the place on all platforms. Her personality.
Big things.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.